theaters right now called Possessor. Um,
Possessor.
yeah, it's a movie directed by Brandon Cronenberg, who is David Cronenberg's son, and this is his second feature film. And I believe it's going to be out on VOD. I think like the beginning of November. So it's
And I'm pretty sure Kajillionaire as well is going to be going VOD sometime this
yeah.
month
I think
as
I
well.
saw it's going to be on VOD soon, or it might already. I feel like I saw it might already be. Maybe not. If not, it is soon. Um, and so Possessor is playing. It's playing in some theaters. And it's playing at a lot of drive-in theaters as well. And
Oh, wow.
it's it's kind of a sci-fi body horror kind of movie. It's a lot like uh, um, David Cronenberg's work. You could definitely see, the influence of his father, which is cool. Um, and yeah, it's kind of it's a trippy movie. The way they're marketing it is it's Possessor uncut, and so it's not rated, and it definitely earns that uncut label. It's very graphic, and there's lots of gore. So if you like gory movies, this is a pretty good one, and it's probably one of the gorier movies I think I've really ever seen. So it's good. It's a science fiction movie where there's this there's this agency that they assassinate people. You hire them to assassinate, um, you know, and so but the twist is this movie's it's set like it seems like it's set in like a near future where it mostly everything seems like it's modern like today, but then there's things here and there where it's like, oh, that's kind of like weird futuristic kind of thing. And they have this technology that allows you to basically enter into someone else's body. And so that's how they assassinate these people, is they use this machine to go into someone else's body who's close to the person of interest, and um, they use that person to kill whoever that they need to, and then while they're in that body, they get pulled out of the machine. It's kind of like an Inception sort of thing, or they get pulled out of the machine, and
Mm-hmm.
but they also have to kill the host that they're in. Um, and the premise is basically this main character in the movie. She doesn't have full control of the body of this guy that she's in, who's played by Christopher Abbott, and the main actress is Andrea Riseborough, who she was in what's it called, the crocodile episode of um, Black Mirror. She's in some other things.
Oh, okay.
She's in Mandy, and she's really great in this. And Christopher Abbott's really good as well. And then the person that she has to kill is what's his name? Sean Bean. So that's pretty interesting, and I kind of enjoyed the memification there, because Sean Bean always dies in everything he's in, and he dies in here. I mean, spoiler alert, but you can kind of figure.
Of
He's
course.
got to die, and it's kind of funny because I feel like that was intentional, and the way he dies is very brutal, and like
He's the Michael Caine of actors getting killed.
Exactly. He doesn't.
I'll do it.
So he gets killed. But what happens though with these two main characters, Andrea Riseborough's and Christopher Abbott's character's body, and she starts to kind of lose control, and he's gaining, and basically they're fighting over this body, and she can't escape, and it gets kind of weird from there. It's a really interesting premise. It's a pretty simple plot, but it has a lot of there's a lot of cool things in it, a lot of interesting things that Brandon Cronenberg does with the movie, um, that I enjoyed a lot. But my main complaint is it's just I didn't really care too much about any of these characters. They're
Mm-hmm.
interesting in their own ways. Oh yeah, and Jennifer Jason Leigh's in it too, and she's pretty great too. But yeah, it's a really cold movie, and these characters, there's not a whole lot to them. I mean, there's some interesting aspects about them, but you don't really feel like you get to know them very well, and kind of like their
Yeah.
background, which is fine. I feel like with this movie, it's definitely, um, Brandon Cronenberg is just he's trying to get you to a certain place, and he's trying to tell a very visual story, and I think he succeeds doing that. But it with these characters and some of the dialogue that feels like a lot of the dialogue just almost doesn't even matter. It definitely feels a little slow at some points, and it feels longer than it actually is. Um, so that's my main complaint, but I
How
like an
long is the
hour
movie?
44, something like that. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
not too long. It's just kind of it drags a little bit in the middle, um, but when it picks up, it really picks up, and when the plot's moving forward and you see some crazy stuff, um, and
Yeah, I love the reviews I read about the movie that I sent you. Some of those screenshots of what people were describing the movie as, like the bloodiest like film that they've ever seen or something
yeah,
like that.
it's definitely up there. I did not. I mean, I knew it was going to be a gory movie, but I mean, it's very gory. I don't think I've ever seen a movie this gory like in theaters before. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if this version of it, which isn't rated, if it were rated, it would probably be NC-17. I had no idea. Like I had no idea how crazy it would be, but it's pretty
Oh shit.
crazy. Um, but it's good. If you're into that, it's really well done. The effects are really great, um, and it is pretty disturbing. Um, it's one of these movies where afterwards I was like, dang, I was like, I don't know if I could ever see that again. But I keep thinking about it. I'm like, man, I kind of want to watch it again. But
It's
it's
got
got
that
that,
effect
yeah,
on you, huh?
it effed me up in a good way. So yeah, it's good. It was,
Well, at least you had a good movie theater
yes,
experience too. You didn't
yeah.
have to. Did you have
No,
any annoying
no,
people in there?
that's one thing as the movie started, like it lets you know right away, like, okay, this movie is pretty messed up. Like you see some brutal stuff right away. I'm like, oh geez. And I was wondering, I was like, are there any people in here who had no idea, like just like, oh, this looks like kind of a good scary movie to watch in October? Was there anyone that just,
That would probably
yeah,
totally be me.
like that?
Just the picture I saw or whatever, I was like, oh, it's probably like a possession
Mm-hmm.
movie or whatever.
So yeah, but you know what? It ended up being everyone was cool. There was probably maybe like six other people in the theater, but everyone that was there, I could tell they all knew exactly what they were going to see, and I heard everyone was talking about it afterwards, like with their whoever they were with, their friends, girlfriends, or whatever, and they were talking about like, yeah, I overheard people talking about David Cronenberg and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, okay, so these people they know what's up. Yeah, it seemed like everyone
That's good,
enjoyed it. I
yeah.
was like, okay, cool. No one was like,
So this is his second movie that
yeah.
he's made, right? Have you seen
No,
the
his other
his
one's
other
called
one?
Antiviral, and I remember it has that one dude from X-Men First Class in it. The one that does like, you remember the guy that does like the screeching, his screeching power or whatever. He's
Oh,
in it.
yeah.
And now after watching this, I do want to watch Antiviral. That came out like 2012. Um, so yeah, I think I'll probably.
So how do you think his son is doing with these movies and
I,
everything? Do you think he's living up to some sort of
Yeah, he
expectation
definitely
with his
these
father,
movies. I
or
mean, and from what I've heard from Antiviral, they're very much a lot like a lot of David Cronenberg's earlier movies. So it's cool to see him making these body horror kind of films. They're not quite like I
Mhm.
don't think he's. Um, Like I don't think with this movie Possessor, I don't think it's, you know, anywhere near as good as something like Video